So I had a download last night, and basically, what came to me was that Mary Magdalene's name wasn't actually Mary Magdalene, and that the word or the name Mary Magdalene was actually a name that she'd given to herself once she had achieved Christ consciousness or become enlightened. So I know what you guys might be thinking. Mary and Christ were not actual real people, they were just allegories of the masculine and feminine within and how to achieve Christ consciousness or enlightenment within, which is true. They do represent that, but they also were real beings that came down on the earth, achieved enlightenment, they were ascended masters, and they came to help assist humanity to do the same. So where did this come from? Okay, so the word Christ or the name Christ isn't actually Jesus' name either, and a lot of you guys will know this already, but the word Christ actually means anointed one, and it's like a title for someone who's become enlightened. So Jesus Christ had the title Christ because he was a Christ and an enlightened ascended master. Jesus was represented by the cross, or represents the cross. So the cross is the multiplication of the masculine and the feminine to become one androgynous whole. And the cross is holy because it's whole. When all of our souls were made, we were made holy, which means that we were both masculine and feminine. So we were whole, and we had the masculine and feminine parts of our soul. The word hermaphrodite actually comes from the god Hermes and the goddess Aphrodite, so the masculine and feminine together as a whole. That's where the word hermaphrodite comes from. But we were whole, our souls were holy, and what happened is we had the fall from grace and we descended. We basically lost our enlightenment, whether it was through eating animal products, whether it was through orgasming too much, but somehow we got rid of our chi, or we contaminated our soul and our energy and our blood, and then our souls became polarized. So they divided into two, so they were then masculine and feminine, but not unified as one whole. So when our souls became polarized and divided, what happened is that we ended up kind of like living in one energy more than the other. So we would either be more masculine internally or we would be more feminine internally. And we would look for external sources to make us feel whole again and to bring that part of us that's gone. So when people say, oh, I'm looking for a soulmate, yeah, it's not a soulmate externally you should be looking for. You should be looking for your soul mate, which is in the other half of your soul that you lost through becoming polarized. And this is why I think some people nowadays feel like they are a man trapped in a woman's body or a woman trapped in a man's body, because our souls are polarized. We're either predominantly one sex or the other internally, and we need to learn on the spiritual path to find balance, to find the balance between the two, and to marry the two together to become holy and whole again, and to have a androgynous soul rather than polarized. So people look for like partners, they look for friends, they look for things external to themselves that will make them feel whole and that will bring them what they need. So as an example, if I am like, say I'm straight, and let's say my energy has been quite masculine, and it could be because I have been a male in loads of past lives, and so I'm just used to being a male. So now I'm in a female, I've still got this masculine energy where I'm like more predominantly stronger in my masculine energy, and so I have this masculine energy, and then what happens is the partner I attract will either have a feminine energy and be a man, or have a feminine energy and be a woman, because I have my masculine and it's predominant in me. So I'm now looking for that feminine, but I'm looking externally, so I'm trying to find it in either a girly girl or a feminine guy. But actually, what I really need to do is find the feminine within myself, which means to work on growing and strengthening that feminine energy within me and being in my feminine, and learning to balance and be balanced in the two to help balance my soul ready for enlightenment. So, going back to the title of Christ, the title of Mary Magdalene, Jesus had the title Christ because it means enlightened one, anointed one. It also represents to have your energy Christed. It's like the cross, it's the male and female coming together, and it proves that he is a holy, whole soul. And just while we're on Jesus's name, something I found really interesting, and this is what I saw before. So, that says Jesus Christ, yeah. Look what I saw. So if anyone knows French, we've got the words here. Je suis Christ. I don't know what the French, that's obviously the English word that I know, but there might be a French word that's really similar. It might mean, I don't know, but we'd need to see, but je suis Christ, yeah. And obviously je suis is literally the word Jesus, but with an I in it. So you split up the word Jesus with the I and it's je suis Christ. What does je suis mean in French? It means I am. So Jesus Christ is saying I am a Christ. I am an enlightened being. And so it wasn't the name that they actually were born with, it's a title they gave themselves as they were introduced to people to show that they were enlightened masters. So to Mary, this came to me because there's a spell you can say that gets rid of negative energy in you, and all you need to say is, I Christ my energy instantly. And to Christ your energy, because Jesus represents the cross, the Christ is the unification of the masculine and feminine. What happens is the masculine and feminine, when they come together as one, they become the holy whole and they negate each other out. So negative energy can only ever be one or the other. It can never be holy. So it can only ever be a feminine negative energy or a feminine demon. But a masculine demon or a masculine negative energy, it can't be a holy one because it can't be holy. It has to be within the polarization. So when you Christ negative energy in you, or when you Christ your energy, all your energy becomes holy because you basically bring the feminine and the masculine together, and what happens is it negates each other. It's like if you sort of put hot and cold together, suddenly it's not hot and it's not cold, it's the middle, so they don't exist anymore. You get into the middle center. So it's the same with masculine and feminine. If you Christ them and put them in the cross and put them together and unify them and make them whole, it negates them so they don't exist anymore, and you're back to center and back to balance and back to the godly stillness within. So I was saying, oh, I Christ my energy instantly, and then it came to me to say, I Mary my energy instantly, and try that instead. So when I said that, I was like, oh, sugar mama, cause when I said I Mary my energy, the word Mary, what I actually heard as I said it was that I marry my energy instantly. So again, what is marriage? Marriage is the unification of the masculine and feminine. It's the two becoming the one and the becoming the whole, okay? And that's where true marriage actually comes from. Marriage is now been like become this thing where people get married and it's like everyone has to do it, and it's like in religion and stuff. But true religion and true spirituality teaches that true marriage is actually about the masculine and feminine within your soul becoming one unified whole, and you achieving enlightenment. So wow, I'm saying I marry my energy, it got rid of negative energy, and I was like, okay, it's Mary is married, so she's put the title of being married on her name. And this is funny because people put titles on the name like Mrs. or Mr, meaning that they're married. She's chosen married or Mary, which could have been the same word back then, marry, Mary. They're really similar, especially when the spell they cast and the resonance and energy they hold. So she's called Mary or Mary, she's married, which just shows that she's attained enlightenment. And then the last bit, Magdalene. Check this out. So Magdalene, okay. So let's just for a minute focus on what the cosmos actually is. So this line here is basically representative of the still magnetic white light of God. And God is still. So let's say that this is a timeline. God is this constant stillness in the center of the cosmos, okay? What happens is, let's say up here is positive and down here is negative, yeah? Let's say up here is also masculine and down here is feminine, yeah? Let's say up here is happiness and down here is sad. So you've got like the different polarity in energy, in masculine and feminine, in the emotions and things like that. So this is God, still like this is balance and center. And what happens is when you're enlightened, this is what your soul is like also. It's emitting a beautiful, strong and still pulse of energy. When you become unenlightened and you live in sin, your energy is up and down like this, yeah? And this here is the sine wave. It's the sine wave. And you'll see that that is what sin is to live in the sine wave. So when you're unenlightened and when you have sex before you're married, you're in sin. So there you have the sine wave there. So what you are when you're unenlightened, you're constantly up and down between happiness and sadness, or into your masculine, into your feminine, into your masculine, into your feminine. And you're always trying to get into the center, into balance. You want to basically make that wave as low as possible to the point where you can make your soul still like that instead. So that sine wave there is unenlightened, and you're constantly in polarity between positive and negative, masculine and feminine, happiness and sadness, etc. If you get to the balance center stillness, you are enlightened, and that's what your soul does then. So Magdalene, okay, Mag is the magnetic line. So the magnetic line is what she has achieved there. She's that magnetic still line of God, which is enlightenment. So her whole name is Mary. She's married her masculine and feminine within, and she is now the magnetic still line. And so magnetic can also be associated with like feminine energy, and line being masculine. So again, it's a masculine and feminine, but her whole name has been chosen as a title to show that she is enlightened master, and so that's where the word that's where the title Mary Magdalene has come from. Just to go into lastly about the whole sex before marriage thing. So back to this line, that's enlightenment. This is the sine wave or sin. When you are enlightened, or the path to enlightenment, you have to build up your chi, which is your sexual life force energy. There's different things you need to do on this path to attain enlightenment. One is definitely being vegan. One is building up your chi. Meditate, be mindful. There's loads of different things that you need to do to live this lifestyle to get to attain enlightenment. And if you are when you are enlightened, you've got enough chi, which is your life force energy. What you need to do is to attain enlightenment, you have to abstain from orgasm and build up your chi, because every time you orgasm, you release a part of your chi and a part of yourself back out into the cosmos, and so you're losing part of your soul again, to constantly try and find it again and to want it and to have this longing desire for it. When you're enlightened, you don't have that, because you whole, you complete yourself. So when you're trying to do the path to enlightenment, you have to build your chi, and so people eat raw food, they connect to nature, you get chi from the sun, you get chi from the crystals, you get chi once a month from the moon being in your star sign. So we get chi all around us, but a lot of people, or some people in the past, have actually been orgasming at least once a day, and when you orgasm, like I said, you're getting rid of your chi, so you're trying to build it up but you're losing it again. Ancient masters used to live for 500 thousands of years, living this lifestyle even longer, and yet people are dying before they're even like 40, 50, 100 years old, getting ill, getting diseases. They're losing their life force and their life energy, and they don't know why. Sex is promoted everywhere, and so is porn, and it's meant to be a really cool thing, and everyone does it, and it's like No, it just completely takes us off the path. It's okay to practice like tantra and to practice mindful sex or to practice sex with a partner with love, but it's just like about conscious sex rather than just wasting it away and getting rid of all your chi. So what I was going to say is, once you've built up enough chi and you do attain enlightenment, you can now and then get rid of a bit of chi here and there, and you still have enough chi. If you suddenly decided to go back to that old lifestyle and got rid of it all, you would lose your enlightenment again, but you can lose it here or there a little bit. So when you are not married, so you're in the sine wave and you're orgasming, you are in sin and you are staying in sin in the sine wave. You're staying in polarity, up and down, riding the wave of the emotional wave of the cosmos. But if you become married, which means enlightened, you're unified masculine and feminine within, then it's not a sin to have sex after marriage. Only because so long as you don't do it too often and you're not losing your chi too often, then you stay enlightened and you stay out of sin. So that's why the whole marriage and having sex before marriage and sin comes in. It's not actually to do with actual marriage or what people say marriage is today. It's about whether you're enlightened or not, and whether you have enough chi that you can expel it without losing your enlightenment or not. So I think that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Comment with your thoughts anyway, and I'll be back soon. Alright, see you guys, bye. Also guys, if you wanted to learn more about all of this, I got a lot of my information from watching a lot of Santos Bonacci's YouTube videos, and I got this book as well recently. This book changed my life. It's called The Way of Emotion. It's by a guy called Chris T, and this has got all about the polarization of your emotions and the path to enlightenment. This was just like, for me, probably my favourite thing of all time, and it's just completely changed my life and put me right on the path. So I would definitely advise having a look at this, and I would also advise looking at Santos, his work. He talks about the holy chrism and things as well. So this, I think, I got mine on Amazon, and I'll post a link below anyway, so you can just have a little look. But honestly, it'll blow your mind. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Alright, thanks, bye.